Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Now, we're going to go over the term love bomb because it was requested quite a bit and people are trying to understand what this means. So, I want to mention that love bombing is not a clinical term. It's not a psychological term. We don't learn about this in school. We don't have this in our medical file. We do not put this in our notes. Oh my gosh. It's not a clinical term. But my understanding of love bombing is that it is a type of manipulation. It is some form of trying to connect. Even if it's not malicious, it's still manipulation. We can see this a lot with borderline patients. We can see this in codependent relationships. We can see this in abusive relationships. We can see it with an individual who has narcissistic personality disorder, where you're trying to gain something that is not necessarily what it looks like. Whereas avoidant individuals, if they are more loving in the beginning, often it is just them putting on some form of a mask, not because they're trying to manipulate anybody, because they're just trying to fit in with whatever their surrounding is similar. Like it has nothing to do with you. It's very similar to, let's say you put on a certain persona at school because you're not close to these people. Maybe you're more talkative, you're more bubbly at school, but at home you're just more low key and relaxed. But that's who you really are. But around other people, it doesn't mean you're love bombing them. You're just being what you perceive is a student or what you're supposed to be. Some people shift personalities depending on who they are in terms of friend groups in a non-manipulative way. They're just blending in. Maybe the people that are closest to them know who they really are, but other friends know different sides of them. That's kind of the best way I would describe what avoidants are like when they first start in a relationship. They're not really thinking of this. They're playing the role as a relationship, not because they're manipulating you, because that's just what they think they're supposed to do. Just like when you're in high school and you're trying to just be a student. You're not trying to be yourself, right? You're just being a student to get through the day. You're not even doing it on purpose. There's no manipulation. There's no gain. You're not trying to get something out of it. And a lot of times when avoidants get into relationships, sometimes it's because they're guilting themselves prior to the relationship that there's something wrong with them, that they need to connect. So it had nothing to do with you from the start. It has to do with their own wounds. And then eventually, as they start loving you, liking you, caring about you, they don't feel so guilty about not being in a relationship anymore, and they start showing you their true self. So it's not a form of manipulation, okay? I hope this makes some sense. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.